The narration begins in silence. Not a comforting silence, but one that lingers in the air like a heavy cloud before a storm. On a modest stage, at a military event meant to be filled with light laughter and casual applause, stood a young man whose eyes could no longer lie. Jungkook. He stood like someone who had carried a burden for far too long. His shoulders trembled, his eyes were red, and in front of him sat someone quiet, but not empty, Taehyung. And somehow, the world held its breath, as if time forgot to move. I'm sorry. Not just words, but wounds given shape through sound. A voice hoarse, like it had traveled a long road covered in stones. Suddenly, the once lively room fell silent. Cameras paused, voices were swallowed by the air. And there he was, Jungkook. Not as an idol, not as a star, but just a human being standing before a friend whose heart he may have once broken without realizing it. Taehyung hung. I know I hurt you, even if I never meant to. His voice cracked, not from lack of practice, but from a heart that could no longer hold everything in. All the pain, all the confusion, all the denial. His tears fell, but this time, no one tried to hide them. And Taehyung, he watched, just watched, without a single word. His gaze was like a mirror, full of invisible scars, full of memories that never really ended. Something broke that night, but maybe, something was being mended too. No one knew for sure. They used to laugh together, share dreams, run under stage lights and cheers, as if the world would never take anything from them. But time doesn't stay still. And pain doesn't always show on the surface. I've been too hard on myself, but I was even harder on you. That line sounded like a bullet he shot at his own chest. And Taehyung remained silent, but in his eyes, there was a storm. Not anger. Something more complicated than that. Maybe disappointment. Maybe loss. Maybe love that no longer knows where to go. Then, slowly, Taehyung stood up. Not to embrace. Not to walk away. Just stood, looking at Jungkook as if searching for the last pieces of someone he used to know with all his heart. It takes time to cook, he said softly. And in that simple sentence, the world split. Time for what? Forgiving, forgetting, letting go. And from that night on, armies were restless. Because that wasn't acting. It wasn't a music video concept. It was real, raw, undeniable. Old practice videos resurfaced in fan forums. Clips of them arguing. The audio was too low to hear, but their expressions spoke louder. Jungkook walked out of the room with a blank face, while Taehyung just stared at the floor. Long and hard, as if searching for an answer that never came. Sometimes I feel sorry for Taehyung. He was always there, but I didn't always see him. Those were Jungkook's words in an old interview. Back then, they passed unnoticed. Now they echoed, and fans began to ask, have we been so busy loving them that we forgot they could hurt each other? That even stars can fall apart without making a sound. No official statement from the agency. No clarification. Just silence. And in that silence, speculation grew like wild roots. Some said it started during their solo projects. Jungkook, in his perfectionism, became too controlling. Taehyung, with his soft soul, felt unheard. Or, maybe it wasn't about projects. Maybe it was something more personal. A trust broken, a promise not kept, or a feeling never truly spoken. Forgive him or forget him. That was the phrase scribbled in a small notebook caught on camera in Taehyung's hand, while he sat alone at a Paris cafe. A quiet line that made thousands of fans cry. Then came the song. No label, no promotion, just uploaded to SoundCloud by Jungkook himself. titled, "To You, If You're Still Listening." His voice was raspy, unpolished, unedited, and every word sounded like a wound forced open. If time could turn back, there was no ending to the story. No reconciliation hug, no reunion on stage, only a question. Did Taehyung hear the song? Is his heart still open? Is this the beginning of healing? Or the goodbye no one ever said out loud? Some say wounds can heal with time. But not every wound wants to be healed. Some just want to be understood. And that night, when Jungkook bowed deeply, holding his breath between tears, the whole world knew. That wasn't just an apology. It was a soul, finally speaking after too long being silent.